Today, Hope Brown is here with us in the virtual studio. Listen, she is the founder and creator of the Tax Minded Bookkeeper, and she is going to be dropping some gems today on how smart business owners, just like yourself that are listening and watching, how you can win at this financial management and tax game, especially since we are now heading in towards the end of the year. We said goodbye to the third quarter. We are here in the fourth quarter, but guess what? I said on my Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels, games can be lost, but they also can be won in the fourth quarter. You're hanging out with us here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Don't you move. We'll be right back after this quick intro.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. I'm your lovely, amazing host, Sharvette Mitchell. I'm a marketing consultant, and I work with entrepreneurs and small businesses around helping them get more customers by focusing on their marketing, their visibility, and their branding. And so this show is geared towards our entrepreneurs. So while you are watching live, because we are multi-streaming in 6 different places, 3 different places on Facebook. Hello to YouTube. Shout out to my sister Kim and Deborah already holding it down over on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. You might be at sharvette.com. And then certainly those that are listening to the podcast version or the talk show version. Hello and welcome to you as well, because today's show, I'm telling you what, it's going to be juicy. Winning tax and bookkeeping strategies for small businesses. That's what we're going to be talking about. So I encourage you to tag a business bestie, forward this, share this in groups and things that you're in, that you own and all that good stuff. Or you can post it on your page, because I'm sure there's someone else that is wanting the gems that we're going to be dropping today with our guest, Hope Brown. Again, thank you so much for everyone that is here. YouTube is already in the mix. Thank you so much, Brenda. Good evening. Thank you for being here. Mom. Thank you so much. Hey, Sean. Thank you for holding it down and being with us as well. So this segment is brought to you by my newest book collaboration. I am so excited about this collaboration, Pearls, that is available everywhere. It's available everywhere. This is a collaboration where I join forces with 10 of my clients that are in my platform builder program, my 12-month program, and we write books. One of the things that we do. And so this is the latest book, Pearls, Wisdom and Advice from Emerging Women Leaders. You can pick it up everywhere books are sold, but you're at sharvette.com right now, so it's right on the homepage. Go ahead and place your copy, place your order, and we will get that in the mail for you, available in all digital formats. So you'll hear a little bit more about Pearls later today. So let's go ahead and formally introduce our guest. And if you are listening to us new, and this is the first time you've experienced the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, make sure you comment so we can give you some love. Also, if you are watching the replay of this live stream, go ahead and type #replay. We want to come back and show you some love. So our guest is hanging out right now in the virtual studio, waiting and ready to come up to chat with us. Hope Brown is an entrepreneur mentor. She's an expert and she's a speaker, and she's on a mission to help business owners become productive and succeed beyond their wildest dreams. Hope established the Tax Minded Bookkeeper LLC in 2019 after consistently meeting with business clients during the tax season who didn't understand their company's finances or tax-related responsibilities. Today, Hope's work as a tax strategist, a bookkeeper, and speaker, is all about encouraging excellence in the business world. She's using her ability to explain complex concepts in easy to understand language. She's coached multiple entrepreneurs to six figures, and she's teaching them to change their mindset, all about finances. Coming up to the mic live here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, put your hands together and show some love to our guest, Hope Brown. Welcome to the show, Hope.
Hey, Sharvette, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Oh, we are excited to have you. Absolutely.
Yes.
The virtual studio is filling up. Greetings from Florida. Oh, we certainly send love to you in Florida. We hope and trust that you are well. Yes, Kim and Deborah hanging out there with us on YouTube. Apostle Kimberly, thank you for being with us. Okay. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hello, LaDonna. Thank you for being with us. I think North Carolina. So lots of love lining up here in the virtual studio to talk about something that sometimes is a little intimidating, a little scary, because you got to talk about taxes. You got to listen. All is well in Florida. Sean, yes, he's in Florida. All is well in Florida. We're so glad to hear from you all. Yeah. So how did you get into this space? What brought you here to say, I want to help people with taxes?
Yeah, it's kind of an odd story, but so I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So my dad, who owned his own business, the man, God bless him, could make money all day, but he was not good like with the financial part. And I just remember growing up and kind of watching that from a child's eye view. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? It shouldn't have to be this hard, even back then. So as I became an adult and I started establishing my own businesses, throughout the years, to be honest with you, I got tired of somebody else sitting on the other side of the desk trying to explain stuff in a way that I couldn't get. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to start taking classes, whatever it takes to be able to understand tax law, financial, so I mean, I got like 3 degrees in it now, but it was all about just making sure for myself and feeling empowered myself to make sure that I had the tools I need to successfully run my business.
Yeah. And so as I read in your bio, and you were having, conversations with entrepreneurs at tax time, and some things became kind of really eye-opener for you, of course, without disclosing and harming the innocent. What were some of the common things that you saw kind of coming up that prompted you to say, okay, I definitely need to go this way?
Yeah. So not being prepared, not having adequate records to really track income information, definitely not expenses. A lot of surprises, kind of a lot of the same stuff I saw my dad go through, like, 20, 30 years ago, with not really understanding the tax part. Because a lot of people are coming from the W-2 world, but self-employment, being your own business owner, is a whole different thing. And with that comes responsibilities for estimated taxes, self-employment taxes on the money that you're making. And people just didn't have a clue with that. So gradually, a lot of my customers were like, listen, we just need your help during the year. Yes. And it started off kind of small with me helping some of my tax customers who were business owners really understand. And because doing taxes one time a year is just that. But if you have a strategy or a plan during the year, especially when you're making money, that's really the smarter path to go.
So I think that's like, if you're taking notes, I think that's one of the great pins to stick there. I see hearts and love already popping up. Thank you. That just meeting with your accountant or tax strategist once a year, probably not going to cut it. You could be better positioned if you meet with them some other time.
Exactly. I mean, I feel that way on the individual tax side, but I definitely feel that way on the business tax side, because business can be so dynamic. And you could be at one level this year, but next tax year, a pandemic could happen and a whole, your whole world could shake up. So you definitely, your bookkeeper is going to be your best friend. And any good tax person will tell you the bookkeeping is like the core of what they're going to do. So your records that your bookkeeper hopefully is helping you to establish, and those processes are going to help you with things like cash flow during the year. You can see what money's coming in, going out. You can estimate correct taxes to pay for estimated taxes to federal, state if you owe those, self-employment taxes. But then that information at the end of the year is going to go to your tax person, and they're going to love you.
They're gonna love you. So let's level set and make sure that like everyone is kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
So bookkeeping, when you
Yes.
say that, and assuming maybe somebody's like, hey, I'm just kind of getting started into this.
Okay.
What do you mean by bookkeeping? How do you define that? And what do they use to do that?
So, bookkeeping is the practice of basically managing your financials, meaning money coming in, money going out, just understanding and at least having some type of documentation that helps you track your cash flow, money coming in, money coming out.
All right.
So, yep. So, one of the fundamental things that I teach people that I coach is um, for good record keeping to even start off on the right foot, try to consider having separate bank accounts set up between your business and your personal life. Like, don't commingle funds. And for businesses, I mean, there are a lot of businesses that started during COVID that are taking off, like really, they're
Yeah.
excelling, which is beautiful. But consider not only having a separate checking account. So the checking account is going to be for your operations, money going in, money going out, just to be able to work the business, money coming in that you earn from the business. But you also want to have a savings account, which is going to put emergency funds in that. And then also a third account for tax savings, like a
All
tax
right.
account.
All
So,
right.
yeah, those are the 3 standard accounts. I mean, there could be more depending on what you have going on, but the operating account, the savings account, and the tax account, those set up, and then you not commingling will be a good foundation for you to kind of build on to keep everything separate.
Wonderful. And this applies if you are a full-time entrepreneur doing a business on the side, and then absolutely if you're a full-time business, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So even if you're a part-time entrepreneur or business owner, just the nightmare. Like we've all been there. I mean, I'm gonna raise my hand a little bit too. I gotta be honest.
Like,
But how many of us have been sitting there like, we put that tax appointment off, we pushed it out as close to April 15th as we can because we didn't want to go through trying to go through that credit card where you had personal and business, that checking account where you had personal and business, and trying to organize that.
mhm.
So yeah, don't just start off. I mean, even if it's today, like just go to the bank tomorrow and open up a separate account. So
All right. Great, great, great. And so certainly our topic today is all about winning tax and bookkeeping strategies for small
yes,
businesses. So we have just stepped into the fourth quarter.
yep.
So people might be thinking, okay, even if things weren't all aligned earlier in the year, people gonna get things together. What are some specific things that you would say to be thinking about in this time period?
Yes. So even if you didn't do that organization that I talked about, don't wait until after December 31st to kind of see what your net income is going to be for the year in that business, because we're at a point now of where we're in the fourth quarter and you should have paid the first, the second, and the third quarter estimated taxes. So, what are estimated taxes, you might ask? When you work for a company as a W-2 employee, they're taking care of all of the tax stuff. But
Yeah.
when you own your own business, even if you're a sole proprietor, guys, the IRS is a pay as you go system. And they give us a break as entrepreneurs or business owners that we only have to pay 4 times per year, but we still have to be paying those taxes on that net income. So that is one thing that I'm working personally with a lot of my customers. I have like 3 appointments a day. We're trying to figure out what their estimate taxes, even if they haven't paid any of that during a year, what it
Got it.
should be, and getting that remitted to the IRS.
All right. So estimated tax is definitely something to have your eyes on. Are there tax breaks or
Mhm.
different things that, that they can be thinking about? Hey, I'll be able to claim this as a tax write-off?
Yeah. So that bookkeeping, or, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, that's going to help you really break down things that you can be expensing. For example, the home office deduction, any kind of legal fees, advertising fees, gifts to clients, any kind of contractor support. I know I use contractors to support my business.
Yes.
So that's a big write off. Um, you know, basically any kind of like legal fees, any kind of things that you're using or spending money on to support your business activities. Those are things that you can write off. So, a really big one is the home office deduction because a lot of us are working from home now, and
Mhm.
I see people nervous about that for some reason. But
Uh-huh.
if you're, if you have a home, even if you're renting, if there's a designated spot in your home that you're using exclusively for business, there's a calculation that you can use to figure out what the square footage is, and whatever that percentage is, you can take that percentage off of your light bill, your gas bill, your alarm system, your heating
Oh,
bill, all of
yeah.
that. That's known as being an indirect expense. But then we have direct expenses too, where if you want to paint your office, if you want to buy furniture, anything that's happening specifically in that space, that's a deduction that you can take the whole 100% for. Um,
All right. So that should be some good. So maybe people did some of that during the year and then think about, oh, I bought a new chair. Oh, I did have work done in the office. Oh, I did. Yeah, I think. Listen, you all testify in the chat. If put a one in the chat if your wheels are spinning. Whatever Hope has said at this point, put a
yeah.
one in the chat if your wheels are spinning. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, and we are here with Hope Brown, the Tax Minded Bookkeeper, and our topic today is winning tax and bookkeeping strategies for small business owners. That's who we are targeting this to. So great. I'm seeing some ones come through in the chat. I'm seeing some ones come through in the chat. Hey, Angela, thanks for being here. All right. Seeing some ones come through. So any other things that you would say, in particular in this time of the year, to be thinking about?
Just being organized. So personally, I'm reaching out to a lot of my clients just to make sure. Okay, so we're in the last couple of months of the year. So you might want to reach out and just kind of do a sanity check with some of the clients who've been paying you money, just to make
Mhm.
sure, because they're going to be generating probably 1099s for a lot of us in January. And you want to make sure that those numbers are correct. So you want to look at what that number is that they have on their records now and just make
Gotcha.
sure it's all correct.
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients who they're not really paying attention to the money they're making. It goes into their bank account, yes, and they're delighted about that. But
Yeah.
then the 1099 at the beginning of the year is something different than they have record of. So that is something that I would definitely say, just, if you have a couple of vendors who are consistently paying you,
Yeah.
just look at those numbers and just make sure that they match what the vendor is thinking that they've paid you.
Yeah.
Um, Something else that I'm thinking about is just making sure that people have your current contact information. We're such an electronic world at this point.
Yeah.
The money just goes in the account. But if you're going to be waiting for those tax forms either by email, make sure they have your correct email information. Make sure you've turned in your W-9 to them just for correct tax reporting on your part, with your EIN number. Hopefully, everybody has that set up. That's a whole different conversation.
Right.
Your mailing address, if they're going to be mailing it out. Again, you don't want to be. I mean, I experience, my clients experience delays sometimes with that. In
Yeah.
January, we're waiting, February or whatever. We're trying to wait for these forms because the entity sent them out, but they sent it to the wrong address because the client
Mm.
moved or something like that. So
Okay.
definitely make sure those things are like accurate at this point.
Okay. Do you have recommended tools or systems that you recommend for entrepreneurs, in particular on that kind of bookkeeping or anything related to accounting?
Yeah, definitely. So for bookkeeping, so I'm a QuickBooks Pro advisor. So
Yeah.
I do love QuickBooks, but maybe that's not everybody's jam. So, there are definitely other cloud-based systems out here. There's a system called Zero. There's even a free accounting system called Wave Accounting
I've
that you
heard
may
about
want to
that.
look into if you're on a budget as an entrepreneur. I'll even take just a spreadsheet. That means that you will document income and expenses. So, but
Yeah.
those are just some of the cloud-based accounting systems that are available for entrepreneurs. And like I say, Wave Accounting is free. So, check it out, guys. Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out. And so what's interesting is sometimes you'll see people with like a pile of receipts and a pile of in paper receipts. what are they doing? What should they be doing with those piles of paper receipts?
Yeah. So before I answer that question, I just want to make a comment about one thing, and that
Yeah.
is there was the act that came in, the Inflation Reduction Act got passed in August of this year. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of people are like, what's that? So part of that act, there was a lot of different tax law related things under that act that got passed. But
Mhm.
one of them was that the IRS actually had earmarked or set aside for it $80 billion that it will be
Okay.
receiving over the next couple of years. So
Mhm.
let me tell you something, guys. I have friends that work at IRS. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, there are a lot of that money is earmarked for to ramp up their small business audit team.
Mhm. I've heard
So I
that.
start that off to say, definitely we're kind of low hanging fruit because in the case of sole proprietors or smaller
Yeah.
business owners, they're winging it a lot by themselves. They tend to make errors, so they're really
Mhm.
easy targets for the IRS to go and kind of look at their
Mhm.
stuff and say, bam, bam, bam. And by that point, it's like 2 or 3 years later, you're getting audited. You don't have all that stuff, or maybe you didn't keep good records, or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
But now, with that information, that groundwork laid, let's go and talk about your question. A lot of people think, okay, well, I have my council check or have my credit card statement. No, the IRS actually requires us to do record keeping, keeping receipts and that type of thing. So the
Mhm.
best part about, I would even say, even if you're using the Excel spreadsheet to record things going in and out of the business, set
Yeah.
up a Google Drive and scan those receipts and put them there. That way, if you ever need it, they're already there waiting for you.
Oh,
Most cloud-based software is going to have not only can you hook that up to your bank account, your savings account, or your credit card to automatically bring that stuff in. In some cases, it can bring the receipt in as well. I know QuickBooks does that,
yeah.
or you can like scan it and attach it, and then that way, that's your forever record of everything that happens. But
Yeah.
definitely, guys, save these receipts.
Save them. And with our phones, it makes it so easy now.
Yeah.
Mobile phones let you just scan and all of that. Thank you, Carla R. Jenkins, for retweeting us on Twitter. Let me capture this comment. Taza, I'm assuming over on LinkedIn. This is my first time joining live. Thank you for being here. Owning my own business, which is like a Walmart, because I have a lot of different skills. I am supposed to pay more taxes throughout the year to get a bigger refund when I do my taxes in the beginning of the year. And if so, won't that be my money that I have saved? So I'm assuming if I'm reading correctly, if she's thinking if she's paying maybe these quarterly, is that going to make her get a bigger refund? Does
So
she actually
no.
want that?
Yeah, so I would say you definitely want to be working with a tax professional to really
Mhm.
look at your unique numbers and see like what the deal is first and foremost, because no size fits all when it comes to income taxes. But
Mhm.
the money that you're paying during the year and these estimated tax payments, if you have gross, let's say you made, I'm gonna keep the number small. You made $5,000. You had $1,000 in expenses, and your net is $4,000. Technically, that is the amount that the IRS is going to be looking at to say, hey, you need to pay self-employment taxes a certain percentage, and also the estimated taxes on that amount. So we're doing that during the year. It's kind of like when you work for yourself, to be honest with you. We paid like every pay period for taxes on that money, but the IRS is just allowing us to spread it out over that estimated tax quarter season, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But
and I think another point, because sometimes there's always this conversation around you shouldn't get a big refund. You should, so maybe that, and it might not be directly her question, but someone else's question, like, hey, I know I'm not
Mhm,
supposed to be getting a
mhm.
big refund. Can you talk about a little bit about like on the small business side,
Mhm.
it's probably not like a huge refund situation.
It all so it's called tax planning. So that
Mhm.
is that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about somebody like I just had a client earlier. She's been working all year. She's been super busy. She hasn't had an opportunity to sit down and look at what her estimated tax payments were. So we sat down and we looked at that today. It was a tax planning session where I took her gross, we kind of knew some of the credits that she could write off, her deductions, her expenses.
Uh-huh.
And then we took, based on the net, we figured out, okay, where her estimated taxes are on that for federal, her self-employment taxes are, and her state tax for DC, for example. And she's ready now to be able to know what to pay for that. Now, if she would have came and said, listen, I want a bigger refund, we wouldn't be paying the minimum tax due. I would have her make more larger payments during the year. I don't know why you would want to do that as a self-employment person, but
Right.
if you do, you would just make larger because that's all really that's happening with when you're a W-2 employee either. I mean, as well, you're just making more than you're making payments larger than what your tax liability will add up to be, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah, and so you want to get as close to your tax liability as possible. And I want to capture this. Carla said, yes, I routinely save my tax filings in a Google Drive.
Yeah.
That way they're accessible from anywhere. If someone's listening saying, I want to work with Hope, how can she help me? Let our listeners and viewers know how they can work with you.
Sure, guys. So I'm on IG, Tax Minded Bookkeeper. And then also my website is bbizsolution.com. That's B as in boy, izsolution.com. You can reach out. I do discovery calls, so consultations, and then you can learn a little bit more about how I work with my clients. I can learn a little bit about your situation, and we can see if we would be a good fit and kind of go from there. I do offer tax planning, tax preparation for my tax clients, but I also am super big into the bookkeeping arena, where I'm helping clients really track their money going in and out of the business, understanding their cash flow, helping them do financials and stuff like that during the year as well.
All right. And viewers and listeners, if you're at Sharvette.com, there's a full blog post about Hope. All of her connection points are there. Also, if you are listening to the podcast, look down below in the show notes, and the connection points for Hope are there as well. And so let's capture this question here from LaDonna. So I use QuickBooks. I'm a QuickBooks person as well. And I purchase a lot of supplies to make products that I sell. I code these supplies as cost of goods sold versus a regular expense. Is that the correct way to record?
So I would have to know more. So it can be either or. So normally when people are in service-based businesses, it's normally categorized as just a normal expense. So I would have to know a little bit more about what her business model is. If she can provide that, I can provide a little bit more information about
she
that.
She does have physical products.
If she has physical products, yes.
Physical products.
We definitely want to, if there is a cost associated with creating her products. So if she's making candles, but she's going out to get the wax, she's going out to get the containers, those are definitely cost of goods sold if she has some form of inventory or that type of thing happening.
All right.
Yeah. I hope
wonderful.
That helps. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, LaDonna. Connect with Hope. She said that's what I need. Good bookkeeping help. So connect, reach out to Hope, and again, those that are gotcha. Yes. All right. Great. Thank you. She's giving the thumbs up. So again, bbizsolution.com is where you can go for that. I have stolen more time that I asked for. We're rolling in and wrapping it up. So the last question that I have for you, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate you.
I think just helping people. Like I said, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I really do have a sincere desire to see people succeed in their business. And I think, in life, we're placed here in certain positions for a season, for a reason. And I really feel that my season that I'm in is more so like, okay, all this knowledge, like, it's no good if I just keep it all to myself.
Right.
Time to reach back and share it with other people so they can, plant those seeds. So that's what I'm doing.
All right. Doing a great job. And one more time, how can people connect with you on social media?
Yeah. So IG, Tax Minded Bookkeeper. All right. Or like I said, my website is bbizsolution.com.
All right. And I've tagged you on Instagram. So if you're following me, Sharvette M on Instagram, that's a great connection point for Hope. Well, Hope, thank you so much for stopping by, and we will keep our eye out on you.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Listeners, as a reminder, this segment is brought to you by my newest book collaboration, which is out and available everywhere. If you are listening to this from Sharvette.com, you can purchase your copy right there on the home page. It's also available everywhere books are sold. And guess what? Here's a little bit more about it. And then we're going to come back and wrap up the show.
The book collaboration, Pearls, is a collection of advice and guidance for women who want to excel in various areas of their life, career, and business. In this engaging combination of intimate stories, thought-provoking guidance, strategic advice, and practical tips, 11 emerging leaders share pearls of wisdom. By the time you finish reading Pearls, you'll walk away with a collection of invisible pearl necklaces that will make you feel empowered. You will have a renewed sense of direction and confidence to face what's next for you. Order your copy of Pearls today.
All right, there you have it. There you have it. And some of my book collaborators may be in the comments, or they may come back and comment. So shout out to the 10 ladies that join forces with me, clients in my 12-month platform builder program. And we produce this amazing, amazing book. So it is a wrap for today. We appreciate you always listening in and spending a little bit of our time. You might be multitasking or doing whatever. You might be listening to this on the podcast. We always appreciate you. You can stop by Sharvette.com and here, if you missed it, if you said, oh my goodness, I just came in, I missed it, you can go back there. That's the easiest connection point, Sharvette.com, to hear from today's guest and all of our past guests, and also what is coming up. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean. He said he'll be purchasing the book for Christmas gifts. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you. Follow this show if you are listening and watching and you're like, oh, how do I keep hearing and seeing this? Wherever you are, there is a subscribe, a follow or something. Go ahead and do that. And in particular, if you are listening to the Apple Podcast version, let's say, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast and go ahead and give us a good review. The same thing over on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you know when our show comes up. And go ahead and give a thumbs up while you are there. And I do see this comment coming in from, hold on one second. Let me make sure. I'm going to advise to reach out to Hope. I would say definitely reach out to Taza, I believe. I would say reach out to Hope and have a connection point there. And hopefully she will be able to help with the question that just came in. All right. It's a wrap for today. We'll see you all later on the web. Peace and love. Goodbye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.